Sharia, Islamic law, or Sharia law, is a religious law forming part of the Islamic tradition. It is derived from the religious precepts of Islam, particularly the Quran and the Hadith. For many Muslims, the word simply means the right path, and they will consider any law that promotes justice and social welfare to conform to Sharia. Muslims believe that Allah revealed His true will to Muhammad, who then passed on Allah's commands to humans in the Quran. The Quran sets down basic standards of human conduct but does not provide a detailed law code. Only a few verses deal with legal matters. During his lifetime, Muhammad helped clarify the law by interpreting positions in the Quran and acting as a judge in legal cases. Thus, Islamic law, the Sharia, became an integral part of the Muslim religion. Following Muhammad's death in AD 632, the caliphs continued to develop Islamic law with their own pronouncements and decisions. The first caliphs also conquered territories outside Arabia, including Iraq, Syria, Palestine, Persia, and Egypt. As a result, elements of Jewish, Greek, Roman, Persian, and Christian church law also influenced the development of Sharia. Islamic law grew along the expanding Muslim empire. The Umayyad dynasty caliphs, who took control of the empire in 661, they extended Islam into India, northwest Africa, and Spain. The Umayyads appointed Islamic judges, qadis, to decide cases involving Muslims, while non-Muslims kept their own legal system. Knowledgeable about the Quran and the teachings of Muhammad, qadis decided cases in all areas of the law. After the Umayyads were overthrown in 750 and replaced by the Abbasid dynasty, there will be a split of opinions within the legal scholars. One group held that only the divine-inspired Quran and teachings of the Prophet Muhammad should make up the Sharia. The other group, however, argued that the Sharia should also include the reasoned opinions of qualified legal scholars. Different legal systems began to develop in different provinces. By around the year 900, the classic Sharia has taken shape. Islamic specialists in the law assembled handbooks for judges to use in making their decisions. Like Jewish law and Roman Catholic canon law, the development of Islamic law was the work of religious scholars rather than judges, courts, or governments. It's interesting to note that in Arabic the term Sharia is used to refer to any system of laws brought by a prophet and believed to reflect God's commands. Thus, Shariat Musa is used to refer to the way of Moses, and Shariat al-Masih refers to the way of Jesus. This usage tracks back to the 10th century when the Hebrew Bible was translated into Arabic by Jewish scholars who used the term Sharia for the Hebrew word Torah. So too today, the Arabic name for God, Allah, is commonly used by both Muslims and Christians in predominantly Muslim countries, including in translations of the Bible by Christians in Malaysia, Indonesia, Turkey, Lebanon, Egypt, and Syria. Today, Jewish, Catholic, and Muslim religious courts or advisory councils handle a variety of cases, including marriage, divorce, annulments, inheritance, and other internal community disputes. Catholics rely on canon law, Orthodox Jews on halakha, and Muslims on the Islamic law. All decisions are subject to local, state, and federal law. Although disputes sometimes make their way into U.S. civil courts, the Supreme Court has ruled that judges may not interpret religious doctrines or rule on theological matters. Civil courts must either defer to the decisions of religious bodies or decide religious disputes based on secular law. Despite positive examples of interactions between Jewish and canon law and the secular legal system, Muslims' desire to follow Islamic law are often met with fear and oppositions, not only in the United States, but also in Europe, Australia, and Canada. In Netherlands, Roman Catholic, Protestant, and Jewish courts are recognized as conflict resolution mechanisms, while Islamic courts of a similar type remain blocked. Similarly, although Australia has a Basting Court for Orthodox Jews and Koori Court for indigenous persons, request for Sharia courts has been strongly opposed. Finally, Canada has a long-established tradition of allowing faith-based arbitration for Christians and Jews that dates back to the Canadian Arbitration Act of 1991, and even further back for private arbitrations in Jewish Basting courts and Roman Catholic canon law courts. Yet, when the Islamic Institution of Civil Service announced in 2004 its use of Sharia to arbitrate family and inheritance cases, it was met with opposition.
Sharia law has a great impact on many countries. These countries include Afghanistan, Egypt, Indonesia, Iran, Iraq, Malaysia, Nigeria, Pakistan, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Sudan, the United Arab Emirates, and Yemen. Even though all these countries follow the Sharia law, none of them follow it the exact same way. Some countries hold it to a different importance than others. Over the years, it has become less popular in certain countries for several reasons. This is because they see it as limiting the rights of the people, more specifically women. One country that does follow the Sharia law strongly is Saudi Arabia. It has such a strong impact on their society that women weren't even allowed to drive until last year. Sharia law also has a strong presence in Indonesia, as you can see in this short video clip that I'm about to show you.
She broke Islamic dress code. He was caught gambling.
The importance of Sharia can be seen through the meaning of the concept. The word Sharia literally means a waterway that leads to a mainstream or the right path. From this meaning, the word Sharia was used to refer to a path or passage that leads to an intended place or to a certain goal. On the other hand, Sharia conceptually refers to a set of rules, regulations, teachings, and values governing the lives of Muslims. However, these rules and regulations cover every aspect of life. Sharia embraces worship, morals, and conduct, as well as it embraces the political, social, and economic, as well as other spheres. Muslims believe that the purpose of their creation is nothing but being servants to the Creator of mankind. They also believe that without the guidance of Allah, no one will meet this purpose. Therefore, Allah sent messengers and prophets with teachings, values, rules, and regulations to guide mankind to the right way. The first step in fulfillment of the servitude mission is the complete submission to Allah, which is Islam. The second step is following the guidance of Allah, which is Sharia. In other words, accepting Islam as a religion and the adherence to the Sharia as the guidance. Hence, the importance of the Sharia is its central goal in guiding man to the right way, whereby the mission of creation can be fulfilled. The Sharia, therefore, is a path set by Allah for those who accept Him to follow, in order to attain success both in the worldly life and the hereafter. Many non-Muslims, however, think that the Sharia is mainly a collection of fixed ancient laws that belong to a time other than ours. On the contrary, Muslim scholars agreed on the fact that applying the Sharia requires two essential types of understanding. These two types are understanding the sources from which the rules are derived, the Quran and the Sunnah, the traditions of the Prophet, and understanding the reality in which these rules are applicable. Hence, the application of the Sharia is not in a vacuum. Rather, it is a reality that is changeable due to time and space. The common ideology of Islamic law on women's status is that the Sharia endangers women's rights. It is true to an extent. As quoted in the Quran and Hadith, the main source of Sharia. Men, your wives are your tillage. Go into your tillage any way you want. And a woman cannot fulfill her duties towards God without first having accomplished those that she owes her husband. It is also true that a man has the right to terminate his marriage whenever and wherever he pleases. The man has the absolute power within the family and marriage to do whatever he desires to do. On the other hand, there is also evidence of the Sharia supporting women's rights. Quoted from the Quran, their Lord responded to I've never failed to reward any worker among you for any work you do. Be you male or female, you are equal to one another. This quote stated how the God stressed the importance of gender equality in Islam. In addition, Islamic law requires a dowry to be paid to the woman rather than to her family, and guaranteeing women's rights of inheritance and to own and manage property.
This is the end of the documentary on Sharia law. Thank you for watching.